All right, Hans Temmerstow here with Andre Rozier. How you feeling today, brother?
I'm feeling pretty goddamn good.
Love to hear it, man. So come on, let's jump right into it. This past weekend, you saw the guy who you pretty much kind of saw him grow up in Africa, Richardson Hitchins, go over to Puerto Rico, beat Liam Perro, become the IBF champ. What were your thoughts on his performance, man?
Well, I told everybody involved that Africa was going to win the fight. There was no two questions about it. I knew he was going to win the fight. Started a little bit slow. Lenny got in his butt, and he picked up the pace in that fifth round. And he went to work. He started piecing him up, took him out of his supposed game plan, and he right hand jabbed him to Kingdom Come.
Do you kind of look at Rich now as, I know he just won his belt, but do you kind of look at him as the man to beat at 140 pounds? Like, where would you kind of put him compared to like the other champions?
Well, I have to put him right at the top. Of course I'm going to be biased. I'm Uncle Dre. I have the ability to do that. But he's one of my special nephews, and I'm going to put him right at the top with every other champion that's there. And I think Africa's the type of young man who will excel from the fact that he is a world champion now. And I think that's just going to help him grow more and more as each day passes.
One of the names that he called out is Teofimo Lopez. Teo's also from Brooklyn, New York, just like Rich, Africa, I should say. Who would you favor in that matchup, man?
Listen, it's an even money matchup now. Africa has the skills to pay the bills. He might not knock you out, but he will piece you up like a Ginsu blade, baby. And I have to go down the middle on that right now, but I love both of them, but I got to favor Africa because he's one of mine.
Is the matchup between Africa and Devin Haney also 50-50? Or, because a lot of people say that Africa fights pretty similar to Devin. Devin just has more experience on the championship level. Maybe he's a little bit more polished. I don't know. That's for you to say. But is that also a 50-50 matchup? Or in that one, do you just see, no, Africa's a little bit better, or he might need a little bit more seasoning before he jumps into the ring with a guy like Devin?
Well, I've never seen Africa physically disabled in a fight, like where he was knocked to the canvas or he took a shot and he did the stinky leg. We haven't seen that. So I couldn't say I've seen that out of Devin. And Africa, it's a new world for him now. I'm telling you, when you become a world champion, it changes your mindset, your physicality, everything, your spirit, everything changes. And I think for Africa, it's going to be a world of difference. He's going to shine like a light. And I kid you not, early on, I was telling Keith Conley, his manager, I said, sign Africa, work with him. He's going to be a world champion. And he always gave me some side bark about it. Well, not yet. I don't think he can do it. He's the one that's shining out of his crew the most at this point. So Africa is the man. I think if Africa and Devin fought, it'd be a tactical fight, but I think Africa knows now he have to go after him a bit more, and I'd love to see it.
When you look at a guy like Africa, what's his ceiling, so to speak? How high do you think he can get up in weight? How far do you think he could go in the sport? Do you see him as a future pound-for-pound level guy?
If he continues, because he really works hard, if he continues being a student of the game and pays attention and not look out, listen to what I'm saying to you right now, Africa, when you hear this interview. Stop looking out the ring when your coach is talking to you. Focus on your coach. Don't make me come and have to bring Black Jesus and tighten you up. But if he keeps going at the pace that he's going, I think he'll be a very, very special fighter. I think he might cap out maybe about 156, 154. Yeah, he's going to have a great career, just as long as his head stays on straight. Really important. But at this point in his career and in life in general, I'm more a sergeant at arms. So if I ever catch Africa cutting up, I'm going to tear him up because I want him to be special.
Shifting gears to Gervonta Davis is he's scheduled to fight Lamont Roach March 1st out here in Brooklyn, New York, Barclays Center. I know that you've already said that you believe that Gervonta is going to win. You're going to win by stoppage, but during one of the press conferences, Tank was just like after 2025, plans on retiring, hanging up. I mean, you've been around the game a long time. Do you think it's just whatever, Tank? You're just talking just to talk right now, or do you think no? There's probably a little bit of truth behind that.
Nah, listen. I'm Tank 100%. We've spoken about Tank many a time. I think he might be frustrated at some things going on, and when you're frustrated, you start to talk. Look, I'm never going to come back, but you always come back. He's on top of the world. I don't see that happening. He might be having some issue that's causing him to say, you know what, I'm sick of this. And it's for the moment, but Tank is too good, and it's not good. I don't think he's retiring at all after 2025.
What do you think about some of the things you've been saying about Shakur lately? It's been a lot of dismissing him, kind of downplaying him, saying, what has Shakur done in the sport of boxing? I don't really have to necessarily fight a guy like that. Like I just said, he hasn't done much, quote unquote, in the sport. Something that Tank has said. So what would be your thoughts if Tank was to hang him up and just not fight a Shakur? Would you kind of look at it like, nah, man, that's a little bit of a duck?
I would have to say yes. Some of the things Tank says, and believe me, I love Shakur also. That's one of my babies. They're all my babies. What can I say about this? But I would think that they have to fight because it's that type of element. It's that type of situation. We need these really good young fighters to face each other to build their legacies. You don't build legacies by beating up guys that you know you can. You build a legacy by beating and defeating the guys who no one thought you could. So with that being said, I think somewhere along the line they're going to have to meet each other. But Tank, Shakur he hasn't had those marquee fights either. I mean, he's won some really good ones, but that marquee fight, he hasn't had it either. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But they're two very talented young men, and I'd like to see them get in the ring and face off against each other.
Does your support for Tank kind of take a little bit of a hit when you see him say things like, he wants to get the money and get out? Like, doesn't really care about world titles, that's what he said. Doesn't really care about making the Hall of Fame. It's all about, my money is straight, I'm out of here. Does that make you say, okay, maybe I can't back him against like the high level guys like a Shakur, maybe a Devin? Does that make you pause a little bit?
No, because before anything else, let us remember, the name of this game is prize fighting. You're fighting for money. And that's the first parameter to look at. The second is legacy. And if he's fighting and he chooses to say that, that's his prerogative. We all still come to see him fight. We all come to see him discombobulate somebody with his lethal power. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, that's going to be an issue with me. If he's fighting, I want to see him fight the best. But if the pieces of that puzzle don't come together and he's still fighting, I want to see him fight.
But does it make you say, a guy like Shakur might have a little bit of an edge over him? Because Shakur is fighting for money also, but Shakur is, seemingly really big on legacy. Wants to be one of the best ever. He said that numerous times. Tank is pretty much the opposite. Does that make you kind of lean a little bit towards Shakur or any of the other top guys who, they want money also, but they seemingly really care about the legacy they leave behind?
Well, when you look at what it is, both of those key elements are covered when it comes to Tank. If you want to make money in the lightweight division, you have to fight Tank. That's where the money is. The rest of them guys don't bring that type of money. Only Tank does. Let's be for real about that. And Tank is making $30 million while the rest of them are making $1. If that is the case, $1 M, he's making 30 M's. And I'd like to see them engage because their talent, their ability to perform in the ring is so special. You want to see that happen.
What are your thoughts on the whole Jaron Ennis, Vergil Ortiz thing? Yeah, I think pretty much everything. Seemed like he was, Eddie came up to him with the chance to go to 154 to fight Vergil. The offer seemingly, some people are saying that the Team Boots wanted Vergil to come down to 147. Jaron, to his credit, has already come out and said, no, that's not true. If they were going to fight, it was going to be at 154. But he just elected and chose to stay at 147 because he wanted to unify and not go to 154 just yet. What are your thoughts on that, and what do you think about some of the people that are calling him a quote-unquote ducky?
Well, these things are starting to manifest themselves. Boots is a very special talent, but lately he hasn't been looking to vie against opposition that will prove that he is a special talent. He fought the same guy twice. Yes, I know they said the sanctioning body was behind it, but if I was him, I said I fought him already. I'm looking for bigger fish. Vergil Ortiz is a big fish. There's plenty of big fish out there for him. Even if he's going to fight and stay at 147, there's big fish there. He has to fight though.
But if he didn't fight Karen, he would have been forced to drop his IBF title. Is that something you would have told him to do, advised him to do? Like, just drop the belt and maybe fight, a Stan Jonas or something like that for his title, or try to anyway.
I would have went the other direction, yes. I would have went after another champion. Being that I already had worked with this one, it was an awkward fight. The second fight was awkward also. It did nothing for my legacy. It did nothing for my standing at all. Really, it didn't. And now you have people talking in the negative. You know how boxing fans are. They're the worst. They are the worst. So if you're parlaying in the wrong direction, they really going to eat it up. It's bad enough when you're doing good, they talk about you. But if you're really going in the direction they don't see as effective or progressive, they're going to destroy you. So now it's like all the positive accolades he received are dwindling down to nothing. He's going to have to do something that will bring the people back to believing that he could be that guy and go from there.
What makes more sense for him to do? Sticking around at 147, possibly becoming undisputed. He probably has a really good chance of doing that. Or do you think it just makes more sense and a better look for him to just drop the belt, move to 154, fight a Vergil, try to position yourself to fight the IBF champ, the guy that just knocked out Tenzu, really hard to pronounce his name. Try to secure fights with like a Terrence Crawford or Sebastian Fundora. What makes more sense, 47, 54?
Nephew, you already know, 154. That's where all the real smoke is right now.
Even though he's going to be fighting much bigger, well, maybe not much bigger, but, bigger guys than what he's fighting at 47.
Well, bigger guys, but he's no little guy himself. So, other than Fundora, everybody is basically around that same area. These guys are like 5'10" to 6 feet, 6'1". So, that's a good height barometer for everybody to actually be in that area. So, but the real smoke is at 54. That's where the money is going to be made at. And you have to take advantage of it and make up your mind.